Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of day it is and whatever part of the world you're at right now. Welcome back to my channel, ASKnowlin, and today we're going to do another short lesson on finding the slope given 2 points. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, if you've watched my other two videos, we've already found the slope given an equation, which we had to use the slope-intercept form, right? And we knew that the coefficient of x was basically our slope once it was in slope-intercept form. We've also found the slope from a graph, counting, okay? Now, when they give us 2 points, we could plot these points on a graph and then do what we did in the last video, just do the counting method. But what if we don't have a graph? We're gonna have to use the slope formula. And the slope formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So the first thing we're gonna need to do when they're given 2 points, label your points. And this is what I mean by labeling: x1, y1, x2, y2. Now, sometimes it may help to list it out, like x1 equals -4, y1 equals +7, x2 equals -6, y2 equals -4. Okay, if it helps to do that, then write it out that way. Now, the other thing I always suggest doing every time you find the slope, write the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And now, the minus signs, because this is a formula, the subtraction signs or the minus signs in the formula have to stay just like that as minus signs. So when I rewrite this, I'm gonna write m equals, I'm gonna have my minus sign on top and my minus sign on the bottom. Now, y2 is -4, y1 is +7, x2 is -6, and x1 is -4. Okay, and as you can see right here on the bottom, we have what we call our double negative. So when I rewrite this, this is going to become m equals, I can go ahead and compute the top. -4 minus 7 is -11. But on the bottom, I have to rewrite that. That's going to become -6 plus 4. And now when I simplify that, my final answer is going to become m equals -11 divided by -2. And we still have to simplify that because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So our final answer is going to be m equals +11 over 2, or 11 divided by 2. And that's the slope. Let's try it again. So once again, we're going to label our points: x1, y1, x2, y2. Excuse me. We're going to write out our formula. M equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. When we fill in our formula, remember that the minus signs have to stay there. So y2 is 16, y1 is +8, x2 is +9, and x1 is +20. Now, because we don't have any double negatives, we can go ahead and just simplify the top and the bottom, and then we should be closer to our final answer. So this will become m equals 16 minus 8 is 8. 9 minus 20 is -11. And we cannot simplify 8 divided by -11, but we can rewrite the final answer to put the negative at the side of the fraction bar, so it's negative. The entire fraction is negative, so it's -8 over 11. Final answer. All right. Once again, label your 2 points: x1, y1, x2, y2. Use the slope formula, substitute those values, and simplify until you get a final answer. So once again, label my points: x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. When we plug these in, m equals, remember that the minus signs have to be a part of the formula. y2 is positive 8. y1 is negative 13. x2 is 17. x1 is 17. When we simplify, on the top, we have, once again, those double negatives. So when we rewrite this, we're going to say it's going to become 8 plus 13. Divided by 17 minus 17 is 0. When we continue to simplify, we get m equals 21 divided by 0. Now, mathematically speaking, you are not allowed to divide by 0. You can have 0 divided by a number, but you cannot have a number divided by 0. So in math, we call this undefined. So our slope is undefined. That's the slope. Let's take a look at the last one, number 6. Once again, label your ordered pairs, x1, y1, x2, y2. Write your slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay? Remember, we're going to fill our formula in. The minus sign has to stay there. y2 is 3. y1 is 3. x2 is 20. x1 is 19. We don't have to rewrite anything. We don't have any double negatives, so we can just go ahead and simplify. 3 minus 3 is 0. 20 minus 19 is 1. Now, when you simplify 0 divided by a number, it's always going to equal 0. So, m, or our slope, is equal to 0. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you find the slope given 2 points.